Good morning. Yesterday was Father's Day, and I hope you had a great day. I enjoyed it with my family, and we had a great day in church yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, we were looking at the letter of James, as we are doing throughout this entire series, Finding the New Normal. And we were looking at the third chapter of James yesterday, and we were reading where James was talking about the tongue and the power of our tongue and what we say. And he said, with it we bless the Lord and Father, and with it we curse men, who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brethren, this ought not to be so. To be able to bless God, to be able to bless our brothers, to be careful about what we say, the power of our tongue, our words. James is trying to get the early church to think about that. And yesterday we talked about that. How important it is for dads, how important it is for us all. And I said that you can encourage people with the power of your tongue. But I wanted to think about today, as we kind of start the week, to remind you of the power you have, not just with what you say. I'm a big fan of Condoleezza Rice. She's an amazing lady. She was our 66th Secretary of State, the first ever African-American woman to be Secretary of State in the history of the United States. She was a lady of strength and compassion, a lady truly who was thoughtful and insightful and brought great wisdom. She served from 2005 to 2009 with George W. Bush. Before that, she had also been provost of Stanford University. When she led Stanford, it was a very difficult time, and she had to bring the students and faculty together to deal with issues, and she brought real leadership. Before that, she had worked with the State Department under Carter, and before that, she had also worked as the National Security Council under George H.W. Bush. Her specialty was really dealing with the Soviets in Eastern Europe. She tells a wonderful story. She wrote a great book. If you want to read a fun book, go back and read Ordinary, Extraordinary People. It really is a story of her life growing up and so much about her parents, who she said were ordinary, extraordinary people. And she tells the story of when she is getting into serving her country and learning all about the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc. And she was asked to come and make a presentation there at the Pentagon. There were all these different military men sitting around the table, generals, some from the United States, from some other countries. Up near the front, there was a Japanese general who was sitting there. And she said she was very intimidated. Here she is, this young African-American woman, being given the responsibility to come in and to address these men. And she came in, and feeling so anxious, she started to give a presentation. Now you can only imagine these men were all sitting there, very straight-faced, no expression, listening to what she had to say. And so she's not getting any kind of feedback to how it's going. But she noticed that the Japanese general near the front, as she was talking, he kind of started to nod his head. And then he broke into a slight smile. And he continued to nod. And she knew she was connecting with him, that he was affirming what she was doing. And she said it kind of gave her a sense of confidence. It really helped her to kind of get into her groove. And so she kept making her presentation, and she was trying not to be intimidated or afraid as all these other men sat around the table, and she made it, and she just kept going back to him. And he would nod, and he would kind of smile, and it meant so much to her. In the end, she felt the presentation had gone great. And obviously it did. It became a springboard for her to go on in her career. But when it was through, she was finally feeling better, and she wanted to go over to this general to speak to him and just to say thank you. And when she did, she discovered he didn't speak any English. He had no idea what she was saying. He was just sitting there looking at her and kind of smiling and nodding, not really understanding. And she said, He helped change my life in the presentation that I made. James warns us, gain a hold of the power of your tongue. You can use it to bless God and then curse people. We're not about that. We're about trying to bless God and encourage one another. But sometimes you don't even have to use that tongue. You don't even have to use words. A smile, a nod, it can mean so much to people in your family, to the people you work with, to the stranger. Maybe today, decide to have an experiment and go try yourself. Find somebody with whom you can smile, nod, and know that God is going to use you to encourage and bless somebody else's life. God will use you to share his love and bring hope in the world. Go out and make it a great day.